Hi there, welcome back to Veggin Out Gardening with me, Kate, where we talk about Zone 5B gardening from week to week. In this week's garden, I will be planting bunching onions and determinate plum tomatoes. The tomato varieties include Early Treat, which is my first saved tomato seeds, so fingers crossed, very early tomato. Sunrise Sauce, which is a yellow plum tomato. Easy Sauce, which has none of that liquid in the middle of the tomato. Paisanos is a classic. Plum Regal, Roma, Fresh Salsa Hybrid, which apparently is really good for salsas, and Celebrity, which is another classic. I'm also going to look back at my seed catalogs and try and figure out why I chose so many varieties and if I can whittle it down at all. Another thing I am going to be looking at when I go back through the seed catalogs is, are any varieties particularly good with the spring dampness and coldness, or particularly good with the summer heat. And that might change when I start seeding a few of the varieties. You can also look for disease resistance. So if a variety is resistant against powdery mildew, it would probably be a good variety for later in the summer. So I'll be looking for stuff like that because that's a lot of varieties and I shouldn't need to plant all of them all at once, even though it's exciting. I'm also going to be trying broad beans this week, which is not a crop typical to this area. So they'll be going under a covered bed as soon as possible. So fingers crossed. This last week I planted basil, lettuce, pak choi, kale, yellow onions, and ground cherries. But let's take a look at some actual plants. Here again is the first week's seeding with the spinach, and then we've got the lettuce, and I've thinned it out a little bit, but I think I'll have to thin it out a few more times before they get transplanted outside. Our mystery tomato is looking really good, nice and green. Here are our indeterminate tomatoes that I planted the second week. Decided that they needed a heat mat, and I started giving them a phosphorus heavy fertilizer because, as you can see, their leaves are starting to curl, and underneath they were turning purple. So yeah, you can see that. So I'm hoping that the phosphorus and the heat will turn it around, and if not, I will try seeding another batch. Here we've got the third week. This is the blush onions and kohlrabi, little leggy, unfortunately. And then back here today, the peppers are just now starting to emerge. Peppers also need heat, so I'm going to try and get another heat mat for those just to keep them going strong. I also finished making the plastic and wood frame garden bed covers to make a cold frame or a little greenhouse out of my garden beds. Haven't figured out how they will attach to the garden bed, but we'll cross that bridge in a week or two. My goal is to have the spinach, pak choi, lettuce, and broad beans in my covered bed by March 19th, which is coming up. So I'm gonna make sure that everything is prepared for the bed the next few weeks, and hopefully all these seedlings will be ready. If you have any questions or want to share what you're doing in your garden this week, let me know. Thanks. Bye.